What up, HyperChange? This is the weekly podcast. It's Sunday, March 26th. Today we're talking about tech news, startup of the week. Let's get right into it. Best news of the week for the Tesla fans, HyperChange universe, is Tesla officially announced via Elon Musk tweeting, of course, that in April you will be able to place your initial orders for the solar roof product that they unveiled last year. So this is a really exciting thing for their SolarCity acquisition business. Instead of selling those weird, ugly panels that go on your roof, you're actually going to be able to get the solar panels embedded in your roof. And so they think they're going to start selling this and actually delivering it in people's homes by summer. You can order it in April. I'm sure they're going to have a new event in April where they're going to launch pre-orders and all that kind of stuff. Despite the fact they would include the solar panels in the roof, they would be able to price them very similarly to a normal roof. But with a catch, similarly to a normal roof of the same caliber of Tesla's roof. So a cheap, normal, standard, your bare bones roof is not what Tesla's competing with and saying they're going to match on price. They're saying they're going to be able to match on price on a really, really fancy roof. So still good and not necessarily a surprise, but good thing to clear that up. I think this is going to be a really exciting pivoting point in SolarCity's business model. So to sum it up, Tesla starts pre-orders for their new solar roofs in April. They're going to queue up reservations just like they do for the cars, and they have claimed that they will be in volume production, so producing a ton of these roofs at some point in 2017. So we can expect that in the next 12 months, we will start seeing these solar roofs that Elon unveiled going up. Really exciting news for SolarCity and Tesla fans. This is just another piece of Tesla's business model kind of fully evolving. It makes their stores so much more efficient now that they're going to be able to sell not only the cars, but not only the power packs, but now also the solar tiles as well. And so I'm really excited to see this roll out, and I think it's a very transformational moment for both SolarCity and Tesla. Tesla Reddit thread of the week. Tesla owners are complaining because Elon Musk kept promising Autopilot 2 functionality would surpass Autopilot 1 functionality. This has been delayed. They still haven't been able to improve the functionality of Autopilot 2. The Tesla Redditors are saying that after Tesla ended its relationship with Mobileye for self-driving autonomy, things have kind of slipped on Tesla end. Elon thought it would only take them 160 days to replace all of Mobileye's functionality. Well, in fact, it's taken a lot longer, and they still haven't caught up. So it's unclear. And now, of course, Intel just bought Mobileye for $15 billion. So that's another validation of the company's technology. So a lot is up in the air right now around whether Tesla is going to be able to really create its own autopilot software that is as good without Mobileye. So a lot going on there. And I guess the flip side is if Tesla is able to build its own autopilot software, then that technology alone is almost worth $15 billion. Think about it. Intel just bought Mobileye for $15 billion just based on this tech that Tesla can build on its own, apparently. So that just shows you the kind of value this company has, the expertise, the engineering prowess of, displacing a company like Mobileye, who Intel can't even compete with. But yeah, so I always like to read the Tesla thread. This is a thing I'm going to throw on the podcast every week. Whatever highlight Tesla thread, I'm going to link to it. We'll see what happens with Tesla's autopilot, but for now it still looks like lagging behind, slowly pissing off customers. Not really a problem or something to worry about, but interesting nonetheless. And a beautiful segue into our more interesting self-driving news of the week. Uber is officially taking its self-driving cars off the road because one of them flipped over in Arizona. Of course, they're claiming it wasn't actually their fault, and it was some other car that failed to yield to their vehicle, which is actually what caused the crash. I don't really know. Anyway, this is the slew and a lot of different issues that Uber's been having with its test driving vehicles. In this article that I found, apparently Uber was having to intervene. Uber's drivers were having to intervene with the self-driving technology every 0.8 miles. 20 engineers have quit the autonomous driving team. So amidst all the sexual harassment news, amidst the president of Uber leaving, now it's coming out that their self-driving program, which is supposed to be able to rival Tesla for that whole robo-taxi business, is an utter flop. They can't figure out how to do it. Sure, self-driving cars sounds really cool and sounds neat on pen and paper, but actually building an autonomous vehicle is proving to be pretty tricky, it turns out. So a lot of road bumps. I guess this is the week where Autopilot took a step back. I still think we're barreling towards the automated self-driving future, but to see Uber shutter its program like this is definitely means a slower rollout than anticipated for them at least, and gives Tesla an even more of an edge to get its shit together and launch its robot taxi service, because clearly Uber's is not coming out anytime soon. Other interesting to note is that Uber recently bought a self-driving truck startup called Otto, and Bloomberg published a report on them about the company's culture, saying that they have a rule called safety third. So if this is what Uber's self-driving program is doing too, it's pretty easy to say why the cars are getting in crashes. They're just, there's so much pressure on Kalanick to get this out and for Uber to fulfill its self-driving ambitions and grow into that valuation that they're pushing as much as fast as possible to get this self-driving tech out there when it's just not ready. And that's gonna screw up the entire self-driving car market if they do it too much. So I'm actually happy to see that Uber close this program because it means that the real professionals like Tesla can now actually do what they got to do. I don't think Uber's ever going to get their shit together on this. Like, I don't know. The Uber crumbling saga continues, and I think we'll see what happens next week, but there'll probably be some other crappy piece of news. Amazon could get into the furniture business. Bet you didn't think that was coming. So we did an episode on why Amazon should buy Whole Foods to expand their exponentially awesome grocery store concept where you don't have to wait in line and you can just walk out of the store. So our pitch was, hey, buy Whole Foods. Instead of building out 500 stores, you can have 500 stores already in the perfect neighborhoods, replace their line technology with your new checkout sensors, and there you go. Amazon Go is the retail titan in the US and Canada. Okay, love that pitch still. Now Amazon, or the New York Times is reporting that Amazon wants to open furniture stores. Brilliant idea. Honestly, better than grocery, better than books. This is the smartest. This actually makes like perfect sense. The second I read the headline, I was like, oh, of course. Why is this genius? Because you can go in, try out the furniture, sit on the couch, lay down on the bed, like feel it for yourself, really look at the material, touch it, whatever. This is for big purchases. I think this is a big thing that's holding back e-commerce, is not being able to get that in-person experience. And Amazon has, of course, innovated on every single pain point in this process. So instead of lugging that massive couch that you just bought back into the back of your car, getting it home, setting it up, they'll deliver it for you. And I imagine they'll even install it in your home if you want to as well. So Amazon is leveraging all of their delivery infrastructure, leveraging all of their products, and they're saying, hey, now we can build this tiny little retail store. All you have to do is go in and sit on the couch. We don't need to have any inventory there because it's going to be 100 miles away in some warehouse where the real estate's way cheaper, and then we're going to ship that product that you picked out to your home later that day. So right when you get home, your couch meets you there, and it's all good to go. So removing pain points, I'm sure they'll be doing it at much lower cost because Amazon always does things at low cost, like a brilliant move. And Amazon, if you ask them, is probably going to be like, oh yeah, we're only opening one of these furniture stores. BS. They're probably opening hundreds in the next couple years. Amazon's retail ambitions are getting bigger by the day, and it seems like every month a new concept of a retail store that Amazon is working on comes out. Like, Jeff Bezos' global domination is actually getting scarily close to happening if Amazon stores pop up everywhere, so I'm a little bit freaked out by that. But whatever. The point is, Amazon stock is on fire. I think the company is executing like crazy. By far my favorite large cap. Like, the way they push the envelope on innovation constantly, reinventing every little industry, just expanding on their expertise. Like, I don't know. Bezos is an incredible leader. So I would love to keep betting on Amazon. If you like a big cap stock, they're my favorite one. I don't own any shares, but if I had to have a big cap, it would definitely be Amazon. I think their track record of growth speaks for itself. And when you think about all the growth initiatives that they have in the work and how early stage we are, I just think this keeps running. Like, all of their retail concepts, Amazon Go, Amazon Books, now this Amazon Furniture, like that alone could be 1,000 stores and a multi-$100 billion company, just those three business initiatives that were only unveiled in the past couple months. Mind-blowing. We just did the episode on Alexa and how that business line is coming together. Like, Amazon is in fact crushing it so hard that it's scary. But anyway, we'll link to this as well. Check it out. We'll see when this first Amazon furniture store opens. Oh, funny quote from this New York Times article. NYU Stern professor Scott Galloway says, technologies like Amazon Go and artificial intelligence are Latin for fire cashiers, which I think is hilarious and so true. The cashier is going away. If you're a cashier, you're going to get displaced by a robot. Don't blame me, blame Jeff Bezos, and start trying to learn how to code. IPO market seems to actually be stabilizing, maybe, dare I say, heat up after the Snapchat launch. So Canada Goose IPO'd recently, pretty successful. Now Alteryx, a big data management platform, just listed last week. So interesting to see the IPO market heat up. Maybe these guys are trying to pump out these companies before the mega crash hits and Trump really screws things up, which is probably a smart move. Or maybe it's a sign that the market's actually recovering and it's healthy again, and the IPOs are resuming as normal after a little bit of a hiatus during the election season. So maybe Snap has kind of maybe Snap has revived the IPO market. Interesting to see. I always love new companies going public, new things to follow, new things to analyze, new financials unearthed. Always exciting. So we'll see. I'm not a big fan of Canada Goose or Alteryx. I don't know that each company either well. Actually, like Canada Goose, I think does have interesting potential, and we're going to do a video on them. But nothing crazy. I think Snap is still 10 times more exciting than either of those guys. But Canada Goose could be a cool little company. They have an excellent brand, and I usually wouldn't like clothing or fashion companies, but this is functional. Canada Goose is actually functional. Like, it's a quality product. You're not paying for the brand, you're paying for the quality. And I think when that's the case, there's a formula that can last longer than just a fad. So Canada Goose, even though I usually hate fashion IPOs, I'm sort of a fan of the Canada Goose IPO. We're going to put out another video, more content on them as I, learn about what they do, go fully through their financials. But great to see the IPO market heating up again. I think that's a good sign all around just for the market in general, as we have more companies to analyze and potentially invest in. YouTube ad issues continue to persist as all these advertisers are apparently leaving the platform because their advertisements were being shown next to questionable content. I think this is a total flash in the pan. Everybody's freaking out because they know YouTube is the runaway leader in online video and nobody's really catching up to them. And so I think all these brands are looking for any reason, and any media company is looking for any reason to just backlash and be like, oh, YouTube's crumbling, no one's going to advertise there, everybody's jumping ship. Like, I think there's so many people that want to see YouTube die because it's been killing their business. Like, all these media companies who are reporting on this are competing with YouTube for ad revenue. Think about that. So it's in their best interest to make it seem like YouTube's dying and everyone's diverting their ad revenue back to print, which we know is just temporary and not actually going to happen. So, not that they're assuming it would divert to print, but anyway, the point is this YouTube thing's a flash in the pan. Advertisers are going to go right back. I don't think it matters at all. As a YouTuber myself, I think YouTube is an epic platform. I think there isn't anything like it in the market right now, and I think it's going to keep chugging along just fine. So nothing to worry about. Way overhyped. Startup of the week, Wheelys. This company's almost so good, I didn't even want to put it on the podcast until we made a full video about these guys because my mind was blown when I discovered this company. They are open sourcing the cafe retail model by selling bikes. Basically, miniaturized food carts on a bike that's mobile for $6,000. So you as an entrepreneur can buy this product for $5,000 to $6,000 and then instantly have your own cafe that you can drive around your city. You can be at the concert at night, in the park in the morning, like mobile at all times. And this is a phenomenon that is blowing up. It's taking off. It was started by this girl who apparently was trying to work for Starbucks but was turned down because she had blue hair. So she was like, screw it. I want to make a product called Wheelys. It's a cafe on wheels that will empower anyone to be their own entrepreneur and barista. Now, a couple years later, they sold like 400 or 500 of this machines. They're growing like crazy. They keep iterating on the product. They keep making it better. Now that you can even like grow coffee on the cart. It even has a solar panel on it as like a crate maker. They have all these fancy attachments depending on whether you want to make coffee or sell treats or do both or make juice. Like, it's such a cool product. So fascinating to see how they're flipping a business model on its head. They're comparing themselves to Uber or Airbnb in that they want to be a platform to empower individuals to be entrepreneurs. So they don't want to own all the cafes. They just want to be the platform for you to set up your own neighborhood cafe, which is such a fascinating model and I think such a better future than where there's a Starbucks on every corner that's run by corporate versus a Wheelys on every corner that's run by the guy down the street who you know and who's running it as his own business and therefore incentivized. Like, the incentives are aligned so much better when you're a cafe owner with Wheelys than a store manager for Starbucks. So first of all, they have this incredible cool cafe business, growing like crazy, epic business model, disrupting retail, and wait, did they just beat Amazon at Amazon's own game too in a totally unrelated piece of the tech market? Yes. Wheelys, growing their bike business like crazy. This is a startup that has only raised a couple $1 million. So I don't know how they're doing this, but they also launched a robotic convenience store in Shanghai that runs entirely off of an app with no employees. So you walk in, the app senses who you are, signs you in, knows what you grabbed off the shelf, charges your Wheelys account when you walk out. This is exactly like Amazon Go, except the store's already open and Amazon copied them. That's right. when I discovered that not only was Wheelys launching their cafe product, which has been kicking ass, selling hundreds around the world in 70 countries, but now they're additionally launching a robotic convenience store as well. Like, this is the most innovative company. Right now, they're the front runner to be HyperChange's Company of the Year 2017. The company influencing the most hyperchange in society, I think, is Wheelys, just based on the fact that the way they're innovating with their business models with such little capital, like, is super inspiring for any entrepreneur, for any business out there. And it makes you think outside the box about what even a business model looks like. Like, they came out and said, we're going to compete with Starbucks. How are we competing with Starbucks? By selling a bike with a coffee machine attached to it for $5,000. Like, it's so counterintuitive, so genius. A huge fan of this company. We're going to put out a ton of content on them because I think they are the definition of hyperchange and the definition of the kind of companies we want to see succeed going forward. So shout out to Wheelys. We love what you guys are doing. Keep it up. We're going to be following. Apparently there's a Wheelys guy in Brooklyn out there. We're going to hunt him down, me and K-Bone, and interview him and put that on our channel. So that should be pretty fun. But if you guys haven't seen Wheelys or heard about it, go to their YouTube. I'll link to it. You got to watch their videos. They're hilarious. They're amazingly produced. You'll fall in love with the company instantly. I promise. Google it. You won't. You just Google it. You'll thank me later. Anyway, that wraps it up. That's this week's podcast. I'll catch you guys next week. The Sunday Scheming with HyperChange. Every week, we're going to be talking about tech news and a startup of the week. Tell your friends about the coolest new podcast out there. Moonshot Monday is coming out in a couple days. We've got a real good one. See you guys next week.